Story 1. My in-laws turned a wedding trip into a nightmare. So I took a plane and they're mad. My husband and I are going to be traveling soon to attend his sister's wedding, along with our 1-year-old son. The plan was that we would land at his parents' place and attend one of the wedding ceremonies there. A few days after that, there's another wedding reception in my SIL's, soon-to-be husband's city. My in-laws plan to book a few train compartments for the entire family and an Airbnb for the stay there 2-3 days. I really don't want to be in a confined space with my in-laws for that long, especially with my son. My in-laws and I used to be cordial with each other until my son was born. A few weeks after delivery, my Mill and Sil visited us to help. All they did was just find any opportunity to hold him, regardless of whether he was asleep or in my arms, criticizing me for being too clingy with him when I would put my foot down, and basically started locking myself in my room with him. Lament how poor my cooking was, and how sorry they felt for their poor son brother, who had to endure it, until both my husband and I had had enough, and my husband hinted heavily that they had overstayed their welcome. Since then, I get hounded for not sending enough pictures and videos of him, and how I dress him. I'm so grateful we're far enough away that we see them rarely. I told my husband a couple of days ago that I'd rather we just fly from his parents' place to the other city and just stay at a hotel while we attend the second ceremony. My husband said that would make us look snobbish, that he himself wasn't over the moon about the whole itinerary, but it was a family event and we should be with family. The fact that he wasn't into it frustrated me even more, because like we're all making ourselves uncomfortable for what then? We got into an argument. His mother and sister's stay got rehashed, and I told him he was choosing to make me uncomfortable rather than potentially risk his family being affronted. AITA. After reading the comments in my original post, I had decided that taking the flight with my son, rather than the train, was non-negotiable, and I hoped to convince my husband for the 3 of us to stay at a hotel. I brought up the topic with him again, and said that a 22-hour train ride wasn't fair to our son. He's been doing really well recently, with his sleep cycle, and messing that up for my in-laws' sake wasn't right, regardless of what they ended up thinking. I was firm about it. He finally agreed. I thought it meant my son, and I would be taking the flight, and my husband the train. But he said he'd be taking the flight with us. He said the long train ride would be horrible for him without us, and that his family would bring up me taking the plane, and he didn't want to be around for that. I was really happy, and decided to bring up hotel accommodations, and he agreed to that too, saying that his family were already going to be mad at us for taking the flight. So at this point, we might as well make ourselves comfortable. When he told his parents about this, they did not take it well. My Mill complained about how everyone was looking forward to playing with and entertaining our son, that it was a family event, and it wouldn't be fun without us. She even suggested to him that I could take the plane and my husband and son take the train. But my husband shut that down, said that our son doesn't react well to having his normal routine disrupted, and we'd see them there. So that's that. This has been such a weight off my shoulders since we're taking the flight. We'll be there a day before everyone else and can tour the city by ourselves. I also hope we can avoid having to go to the Airbnb for everything. Like they're going to expect us to have breakfast, lunch, dinner with them, but I'll rather we do our own thing for the meals, at least breakfast. But still, this has been such a relief. Thank you to all those who gave me advice in the original post. Update. A while ago, I had posted about whether it would be okay if my husband and I abandoned his family's plan of a 22-hour train ride and a shared Airbnb, and the comments had given me the confidence to convince my husband to make our own plans. We came back from the trip last night and are back at our house now. After attending the first event in my IL city, we had booked our flight for the second event for the same day as my ILs had booked their train so that we wouldn't have to mind their house. We reached there a day before them and spent that day, the 3 of us, touring the city. My in-laws arrived a couple of hours later than scheduled, but said the trip was immense fun. However, my husband spoke to a cousin who he's close with and who was on the train, and GE spilled some tea. He said it was all fun for the first 8 hours. Then old fights regarding inheritance and who'd been wronged by who 30 years ago got rehashed, which spoiled the mood. He also said my husband and I came up, and the consensus was that my husband should be less submissive to me and put his foot down more often like a man, and not be so wasteful when it comes to money for me and our son. We only met them for lunch and had breakfast at the hotel, despite their insistence because we wanted to relax and sleep in. According to that cousin, some of those fights had continued overnight at the Airbnb. The second wedding event went well. My husband and I had to put our foot down though because my mill would ask for my son and then hand him over to some random relative and be confused when he would start crying. Neither of our families live in our city, so we don't have a ton of relatives visiting us regularly, thankfully, just our friends. So he's just not used to so many people, which we were told is bad parenting. After this happened a couple of times, we took turns with him and stopped letting other relatives take him. Their return ride on the train was yesterday afternoon. Our flight was in the evening. They're still in the train on their way back. I sincerely wanted to thank everyone who backed me up in my first post. I don't know how I would have handled it. Story 2. She demanded to feed my baby. Now I'm the bad guy. I'm 27F, still reeling from the chaos of new motherhood hormones all over the place. Sleep deprivation hitting me like a truck. And my adorable little gremlin of a daughter, 2 months old, finally settling into a groove of nursing like a champ. She's my world, my tiny human, and I'd fight a bear for her without a second thought. My husband, 30M, bless his heart, comes from this loud, chaotic Southern family, think sweet tea on the porch. Bless your heart, Shade. And a group chat that never shuts up. They're mostly great, if a little too in your face with their love. But then there's Pam. Oh, Pam, his aunt, late 40s, 2 grown kids. Zero chill is the human equivalent of a tornado siren going off at 3 a.m., unsettling, loud. And you're not sure if you should take cover or just pray it passes. So last weekend, we pack up the diaper bag, load the baby into her car seat, and make the trek to husband's hometown for the big Meet the Baby family shindig. I'm already on edge because I'm still figuring out how to function as a human being with a newborn, but I plaster on a smile because, family. Everyone's cooing over my daughter, passing her around like she's the MVP of the party she is, and it's all fine until Pam swoops in. She's got this baby-obsessed gleam in her eye that I've seen before at holidays, but I always brushed it off as quirky aunt vibes. She scoops up my daughter, rocking her like she's auditioning for a Hallmark movie. And then she drops the bomb. Do you mind if I try to breastfeed her? It helps with bonding. I freeze. The room keeps buzzing around me. Someone's laughing about a cousin's new truck. Plates of mac and cheese are being passed, but my brain short circuits. Did she just? I let out this awkward laugh, thinking it's a weird southern joke I don't get, and say, wait, what? She doesn't laugh back. No. This woman locks eyes with me, dead serious, and doubles down. I did it with my niece when she was a baby. Calmed her right down. I've always had a strong maternal instinct. It's completely natural. Natural, excuse me. My jaw hits the floor so hard, it probably leaves a dent in the hardwood. I'm standing there, clutching my sweet tea like it's a lifeline, trying to process the fact that this woman who I've met maybe 5 times in my life wants to whip out her boob and feed my child. My brain's screaming, abort mission, but my mouth just stammers out a shaky, no, absolutely not. You'd think that'd be the end of it. Right. Wrong. Pam's face twists, like I just spat in her pecan pie. Oh, come on, she says, waving a hand like I'm the unreasonable one. You're being so uptight. Women have shared breastfeeding for centuries. It's a beautiful thing. I don't know what history book she's been reading, but I'm not running a medieval milk commune here. I double down, voice firm, number Pam. That's not happening. She huffs, mutters something about me being prissy, and storms off with my daughter still in her arms until I practically lunge to snatch her back. Cue the fallout. The rest of the day is a blur of awkward side-eye from the family, but I think it's over. Nope. By Monday, my phone's blowing up with texts from husband's cousins and random aunts I've never even met. Pam was just trying to help. She's got a big heart. You hurt her feelings. The baby was crying anyway. What's the harm in letting her try? Try what? Feeding my kid like SHES, some kind of lactation fairy godmother. I'm livid, shaking as I read these messages, wondering if I've stepped into an alternate universe where boundaries don't exist. Husband, my sweet, conflict-avoiding husband, initially had my back. He told Pam to drop it when it happened, and I thought we were a united front. But then last night, over dinner, he hits me with, "Babe, maybe it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. She's just quirky." Quirky. I nearly choke on my mashed potatoes. Are you seriously suggesting I let your aunt breastfeed our daughter because she's quirky? He backtracks fast, mumbling about keeping the peace. But the damage is done. Now I'm questioning everything, my reaction, my marriage, my entire life. I'm not crazy. Right. Wet nursing might have been a thing back in the day, sure. But I didn't sign up for a family milk-sharing co-op. I'm not struggling to feed my kid. My supply's fine. She's thriving. And I didn't ask for a volunteer. Pam's not even lactating, as far as I know. So what's her endgame here? Some weird power trip. A baby obsession gone off the rails. And now I'm getting guilt-tripped by a dozen relatives who think I'm the villain for not letting Aunt Pam live out her creepy lactation fantasy. So here I am, Reddit, hiding in my bathroom while the baby naps, typing this out because I need to know, ATA for shutting this down hard, and telling husband that Pam's not allowed near my daughter unsupervised ever again. Or am I overreacting to a nurturing aunt who just wanted to bond? Help me before I lose my mind or start a full-on family feud at the next reunion. Story 3. My fiancée wants to wear her dead husband's ring at our wedding. Am I wrong to hate it? I, 30M, am engaged to Emily, 30F, and we're tying the knot this fall. I'm head over heels for this woman. Think I'd take a bullet for her levels of devotion. She's smart, kind, gorgeous, and I've never been more certain of anything than I am about spending my life with her. Wedding planning's been a dream mostly, and I've been counting down the days to see her walk down that aisle. But there's a massive, soul-crushing plot twist gnawing at me, and I'm spiraling hard. I need to know if I'm the asshole here, or if I'm just a dude trying to protect his heart. Here's the tea. Emily was married before, to Tyler. They were high school sweethearts who tied the knot in their early 20s, all starry-eyed and in love. Tragically, Tyler died in a car accident 5 years ago, sudden, brutal, the kind of thing that wrecks you. Emily was a widow at 25. From everything she's told me, and what I've pieced together from mutual friends, they were the real deal soulmate-level stuff. I met her 2 years after he passed, and by then, she was starting to put her life back together. We clicked instantly, and I knew from the jump she came with a past. I was cool with it, or so I thought. I've bent over backwards to be the supportive fiancé. She's cried on my shoulder during random grief waves. I've held her hand through anniversaries, and I've never batted an eye when she visits his grave on his birthday. She's got this keepsake box of his stuff letters, photos, his old hoodie stashed in our closet. I've never touched it, never asked to. It's her sacred space, and I respect that. She's shown me pics of them together smiling at the beach, cutting their wedding cake, and I've listened to her reminisce about Tyler, how he was funny, thoughtful, the kind of guy who'd surprise her with flowers just because. I've nodded along, swallowed any weird feelings, and told myself, this is her history, not our future. I thought I was nailing this whole emotionally mature partner thing. Fast forward to 3 weeks ago, we're sipping wine, talking wedding details, flowers.playlists. The usual when she drops this bombshell. She wants to wear Tyler's wedding ring on a chain around her neck on our wedding day. She framed it as a quiet tribute, super low-key, just a personal nod to her past. She said, and I quote, "I wouldn't be who I am without him." And this feels like carrying that part of my story into our next chapter. She looked so earnest, like this was some profound, poetic closure moment for her. I froze, like deer in headlights. Brain blue screen froze. I mumbled something like, "Oh, okay," and changed the subject because I didn't trust myself to speak. But that night, I couldn't sleep. The image of her standing there, vowing to love me forever, with his ring dangling over her heart. It hit me like a freight train. I stewed on it for days, weeks, even until I couldn't take it anymore. Last night, I cracked and laid it all out. I told her I want our wedding to be about us, that I've spent years building a life with her, supporting her through everything. And it guts me to think of her wearing another man's wedding ring on the day we're supposed to start our forever. I said, it feels like I'm sharing the spotlight with a ghost, like I'm the runner-up in a love story I didn't sign up for. I didn't yell, didn't demand she ditch the idea, but I made it crystal clear. This hurts me, deeply. She went silent, like eerie. I can hear the clock ticking silent. Then she said, "I'm not choosing him over you. This isn't about that," she explained calmly, which somehow made it worse, that grief isn't something you get over. It's a thread woven into her life. She said, "Honoring Tyler doesn't diminish what we have." And she thought I'd understand because I've always been so amazing about it. Cue the guilt trip vibes. I told her I do get it. I've never asked her to erase him, but our wedding day feels sacred, and I don't want his shadow there. She teared up, nodded, and said she'd think about it. End scene. Now there's this thick, suffocating tension between us. She hasn't mentioned it again, but I catch her staring off into space, and I know it's on her mind. I haven't pushed her to decide, but I'm terrified she's still planning to wear it, and equally terrified she'll ditch it just to appease me and secretly resent me forever. I feel like a monster for even bringing it up, like I'm stomping on her trauma, but also like I'm justified because, dude, it's our wedding. I haven't told a soul IRLL about this because I know how it sounds. Jealous fiancé mad at dead guy. My buddies would roast me. My mom would lecture me about empathy. So here I am, dumping this on Reddit because I'm losing my damn mind. Am I the asshole for telling her how I feel? Should I just suck it up and let her wear the ring? Or is this a hill worth dying on? Help me. Internet strangers, I'm drowning in love, guilt, and second guessing here.